Hey everyone, and welcome back to my Revel channel. I am ready to revel about Real Housewives of Atlanta season 15. And listen, we have a list of things to talk about. We're gonna talk about the leaked photos, the seating chart, the trailer. I do the rankings of the reunion looks at the very end, and I also include the friends of because they have images too. And then throughout, I like to do the individual reviews because let's be real, if you are new to my channel, I like to do the red carpet looks for different events, and I love to talk about, Van Gogh, We Want More, No Show. That basically is like my ranking category, and I want to bring that element into this because I have not done a red carpet review in a minute because let's be real, the last one that I remember was the BET Awards, and it was terrible. So I want to bring that element back up in here. Van Gogh means you did spectacular. We Want More means good, but bring a little more. We want more from you. No Show basically means go home, try again. Now, the leaked photos. I am not the only one who felt like the photos came out way too soon, but at the same time, I decided to wait because I was like, I love to get the images from the women because if you are new to my channel, when I talk about any type of reality show, I always feel like Bravo would give terrible photos, and I don't know what was up with that, but on this one, they did really well. But I still wanted to bring in the elements of getting the images and videos from the women's social medias because it gives a different type of effect on my channel. I love that. It's something about seeing an item or a gown move compared to being still because let's be real, Drew's pose. Drew does not always have the best pose when it comes to her photos, but the outfit may actually be nice. And we don't know that until we see her move or sit or in a different angle. So I love to bring all those elements into that. The seating chart. I think the seating chart was fine. On the left side, you had Drew, Kenya, Candy, and on the right, you had Sheree, Marlo, and Sonya. But I'm very confused only because I'm not mad at the chart, but I felt like we hear so often it's either based off of what you get for the season, and one of the two that's in the front, I don't understand why they're sitting there, or then we hear that it's seniority and still one out of the two, I don't understand why they're sitting there. We don't know at this part. I know a lot of people was upset that Kenya was not in the front, but we know that production possibly has cut out a lot of her images and different things she gave to the show. So it's like, I get why she's not sitting there because we didn't get that much from her, but is that her fault or was that production fault? That's a whole nother video that I am going to discuss later on down the line, right after the reunion, whenever I wrap everything up. Then I want to talk about the trailer. I feel like the trailer gave what the season should have given. And I feel like they're going to answer a lot of our questions. We're going to get a lot more. We're getting more reveals. So I'm actually here for it. I'm actually glad that we learned that they're only going to have a 2-part reunion. Listen, we don't need 3 parts if not that much is going on. I am here for the 2-part reunions. Give us what needs to be given. And don't give anything extra that's going to feel like fluff and that's very unwarranted. We see that so often with so many shows to where they overdo it. And it's like, hey, if you only need 2, just give us 2. Don't do 3 because then you kind of mess yourself up when it comes to the reunions and what everybody really thinks. Now, the looks. When it comes to the reunion looks, we learned that the women are going to do different shades of blue. Many would call it the aquatic type of blue. And maybe they did that because of Portugal. Now, did the actual set for the reunion give Portugal? I don't know for sure. I can't really determine it, but I'm here for the colors and the shades of blue. We're going to start off with Sheree. I love to talk about who the women are wearing, the rundown and all that, because I feel like that is very important. Maybe you want to go find some from somebody and you want to do something yourself when you want to step out. That's why I revealed that. Okay, Sheree. Sheree is in a dress by Sergio Hudson. Her shoes are by Azalea Wang. Jewelry is by Erickson Beeman. Hair is by Sebastian Anderson. Makeup is by Alexis Pelazier. And stylist is by Esther Lamore. Now, I am not a wordsmith when it comes to names. Charge it to my head, not my heart. I did that to the best of my ability based off of what I know. When I'm looking at Sheree's look, I do not mind this baby blue satin gown with the corseted portion in the very front. I actually like the fact that it gives me a shoelace type of effect when I remember them hard bottom shoes that had the little lace shoes and how it kind of goes at an angle down the dress. I think that works for her. I know a lot of people did not like that, but it's really not that bad. Her dress is simple, but it has a little extraness to it. I like her makeup. I think the swelling went down really good to where everything is starting starting to set, and I remember saying that in one of my reviews. I think that's just what it was, because that confessional, it was throwing everything off a little bit, but you can definitely tell that everything is starting to set. I actually like that. I like the fact that she went with a darker lip color. It kind of balanced it out so where everything's not bright. Let's put a little warmth into it. I think the high ponytail, the two-tone ponytail, definitely works for Sheree. Sheree looks nice. The earrings, I think the Erickson Beeman jewelry works for her. I've never heard of this person, but I think I'm going to actually check that out. Sheree looks good. If I was to rank it, Van Gogh, We Want Mo, no show, I would put We Want Mo because it's safe. She looks amazing. It's just safe. I know she can give us a little more, but we definitely know that the simplistic style, the simplicity, all that works for Sheree. That's her signature thing. So that's why I'm not grading her that hard on it, because that's what we actually expect from her. Kandi Burruss. Kandi is in a dress by Motopia Atelier. You're going to hear that name again. I feel like a lot of people either do the dress or the suits by this designer. Jewelry is by Sorelli. Shoes is by Sophia Webster. Hair is by Jody Rollins. Makeup is by LaShante Pippins. Stylist is Jamie Ziegler. We have definitely heard of this stylist before. And then we have nails by Shantanita Howard. A lot of people love Kandi's dress. Yes, it checks off the boxes. I think the knee length works for people that is very short. I'm short. I love to do knee length all the time. I think the contrast of the blue, the crystals, and the drapery at the very bottom of the dress is paired perfectly when it comes to how the dress is designed. But when I'm looking at the breastplates and the extra material, I don't like it. I think it's a little too heavy, especially if you add the straps and how they're crossed. It kind of reminds me of Kenya's dress. It's too much. It wasn't needed. That's the only thing that I would have changed about that. When I'm looking at the shoes and the jewelry, I think the contrast of that is paired perfectly. I love the fact that they did an open-toed strap shoe. And when I'm looking at her makeup, I think Jody Rollins, I'm sorry, not Jody Rollins, she did her hair. Hair-wise, yes, Jody Rollins did that. I think the bob is perfect. It's not bulky, it's straight. It's cut perfectly. I think the brown fits Kandi. But when it comes to makeup, that's by LaShante Pippins. And I think her makeup looks great. I think the contrast when you're talking about the new lip, simple face, yes. Not too much when it comes to a blush. When I'm looking at the eyes and the inner corners being that color blue, like I can probably zoom it in because I don't believe Kandi gave us extra photos. But when I'm looking at that blue, I love it. I personally would have preferred a blue that matched the dress. I think that would have really, that light blue would have really stood out. So if I was to rank hers overall, I honestly think it's a We Want More type of category because I just hate the top half of the dress. I think it's too heavy at the top. Like, look at how it's sitting. I can't be the only one who noticed that. That's just what I would prefer. Comment down below and let me know what you really think of this look, as well as Sheree's. Like, I want y'all to comment, interact. Let me know what you really thought of those looks. Miss Marlo Hampton. Marlo is in a dress by George Hobika Haute Couture. Shoes are Giuseppe. Jewelry is by Alexis Bitar. Hair is by Shardavia Smith. Makeup is by Tim Clark. Stylist is by Paris Shee. And creative director is Justin Perry. We hear this creative director creative director title all the time. I be combining my words, y'all. I've always wondered what that really is. I'm gonna have to do my research on that because we definitely see Justin Perry a lot. I believe we've seen that name when I was reviewing Married to Medicine. Now, when it comes to the dress, I think this George dress actually reminds me of the 1970s. It definitely gives that 70s time frame, and I think the satin blue and how it goes down, it's also off the shoulder. You have the emblem silver at the very bottom, so that's that contrast. You even have the feathers at the very end of the dress. It works here, but when you're looking at the other dresses, we know Marlo can step out. I expected more, but the dress isn't bad. I actually like it. I don't think nothing's really wrong with it. I just expected more from Marlo. When I'm looking at the makeup, when you see the trailer, and this happened with a lot of the women, the dresses and how it moved. Oh, I forgot to mention that. How her dress is moving in this image here, I think that does the dress justice. It makes it feel like, yes, Marlo did that. But when you're looking at it in the image, it's completely different. Kind of like when you're looking at the trailer and how all the women are sitting and the makeup, everything looks perfect compared to the photo, even though the photo is not bad at all. It's just, look at the makeup here compared to the trailer or the images she's giving. it makes it looks a little off there. Her hair is giving me the early 2000s feel, and how you got the half up, well, not half up, but you have it pulled up with the bangs in the front and it's very straight. I like the hair actually. I think the fact that she did a studded earring works, because I think an earring that kind of dangles would have been too much. I think the shoes is paired well. Overall, I just really expected more from Marlo. So yeah, we want more. Have Miss Kenya more hair care. I have to say that because they say that on the show so much, and I actually like how it sounds. But with Kenya, she is in a dress by Valdrin Sahidi. Shoes are Christian Louboutins. Hair is by Stitchy. Makeup is by George Miguel Arnan. Kenya's dress. A lot of people loved her dress. I loved it too. There's just a few things I would have critiqued, and that's just me personally. So when I'm looking at the dress, I think the material, the designs, the feathers, the way the feathers are paired strategically at the bottom, it kind of reminds me of how that was on Potomac. Who was that? Candace. Candace had the feathers, but you can definitely tell that it was oddly spaced and it looked like it wasn't finished. I don't get that here. You can definitely tell Valdrin finished this dress, and I love that. The feathers, I think I would have loved the feathers more if it was just like a shawl versus on the sleeve, because to some people it can be very off-putting. And I think at the very top of the dress, just like I said when it came to Candy's look, I think the straps in that hoop center, I don't like that. I think everything is sitting weird there. I don't like that portion at all. I think she could have gave us like that simple straight neckline, but when you're talking about like at the right shoulder, bring it up a little bit. I think that would have worked. And if you would have had like that feathered shawl, that would have really stood out. Then when I'm looking at her makeup, I think George did well on her makeup. It's just something about the eyebrows here. I don't know, that's just me. And I think the pink lip works perfectly. I think the jewelry works and pairs well with it. I love the fact that with her nails, she went with a simple white nail. And maybe, is it all the way white? Yes, it is. I think the white nails is great. Not too much. Nothing else needs to be done there. When I'm looking at the hair, I love the style of it. It gives me high class. It gives me glam. But when I'm looking at the part and how everything is sitting there at the very top, that's just a little off to me. Overall, I think Kenya did great. It's just with the dress at the top, that's my critique. That's what I would have done differently. Next, we have Miss Drew Sidora. I told you were going to hear this name again. Her dress is by Matopia Atelier. Jewelry is by The Editorialist. Shoes is by YSL. Hair is by I Am Omari Kine. Hair is also by Go Naked Hair. So the hair is from Go Naked, but I Am Omari Kine did the hair. Makeup is by Two Gifted Hands. Creative director is I Style You Watch. And fashion stylist is Leah Taylor. When I'm looking at the dress, the Matopedia dress, I think it's nice, but I don't like it at the same time, because when you look at the corset and how it compares to like that sheerness at the bottom, I think a corset that wasn't as heavy would have worked, but I like it. I think the dress kind of reminds me of being a kid. Like, remember how you used to get the dress and it used to have like the little, it's not beading, but it's like little circles that was like stitched on. That's what that is giving me. So I like it, but I don't like it at the same time. I think she could have gone for more crystal style. I think these sleeves are a great added touch. I just think Drew doesn't know how to pose with the dramatic sleeve on the dress, because look at the picture here that she showed on her social media. Hands are just up, or here is the pose. I think if Drew knew how to pose, everything would look so much better. When I'm looking at the hair, I think I Am Omari Kine did great. The two-toneness of the hair works for her. The hairstyle actually reminds me of like 06, 08, when everybody was doing like that. It's not a pin up, but it's like that bun. Not a bun. What would we call that? The hump. The hump. Yes, that's what it is. When everybody used to have the hump. I actually like that. I think that Two Gifted Hands did really good on her makeup. Earrings, I would not have paired it with the dress because of the detail that's in the dress. I don't think that pairs well. But the shoes, open-toed shoes, look really good. I think if Drew just knew how to pose, it kind of would make things look better. But I would have done things a little differently when it comes to her. She's definitely, we want more, just like everybody else. Sonya, her dress is a reimagined design for her. It was reissued from Mark Bowie's 1989 collection, and I believe they did this because she is expecting. Her jewelry is by Alexis Vitar. Shoes are by Ruthie Davis. Hair is by Theo Barrett. Makeup is by Letitia Chauncey, and stylist is by Mickey Freeman. I want to start off with her hair. I know I started off with everybody else's dress. But her hair, I literally think Theo did really good. The waves, the way it pushed to the side, the part, not a hair is out of place. I love that on Sonya. When it comes to the reimagined dress, the material of the dress kind of reminds me how like back in the day, if you were like competing for a competition, like I wouldn't say Miss USA or, you know, things like that, but that material is what they used to use. It's very shiny. And I think the simplicity of it works here because we know last reunion, I believe Sonya went a little too far and I didn't care for her dress. It was elements I liked separately though. But when I'm looking at this, it's simple, it's safe, it works for her. And I normally don't care for safe, but I like safe if it really works. So yeah, I have no complaints when it comes to that. I like the fact that the dress is all long and at the very end, you can see a miniature train. And I think that works compared to how Drew's is. You know, Drew had the really dramatic train, whereas hers is kind of scaled back. I think that works for this. The simple strap. We've seen other people do straps that I didn't like. I actually like the strap on the dress. That actually works. Her makeup. I think Letitia did good on her makeup. The fact that you have at the very high corner of the eyes, that light blue and how it contrasts with the blue dress, you know, medium blue, light blue, it works. Now you have like medium eyeshadow blue at the very top, then you have the the light eyeshadow at the top. You have the medium blue dress, and then when you look at her nails, you have the dark blue. I think she should have did it like a different nail color. That's just me. When I'm looking at the jewelry is nice. I would not have paired it with the dress though. I think her earrings work, and I actually like that. I just don't care for the bracelets, and I can barely see her shoes, so that's okay. Sonya is safe. I like it. Next, we are down to the friends of the show. I want to start off with Monyetta. Her outfit is a Matopita Atelier. Her jewelry is by Sorelli. Her shoes are Givenchy. Hair is Hair Styling Swags. Bundles are D Hair Boutique. Makeup is Eyebrows Beat at Iriel. Nails are Official. Keep It Classy Nails. And she has Icebox as well. Listen, her outfit reminds me of the earlier Housewives seasons. Not like a season 1 where like they didn't really know what to expect, but like when you get into like the season 3s, 4, 5, 6, 7, things like that. I think the pantsuit works here. A lot of people didn't like that she had a pantsuit, but when you see how she's standing here in this photo, I don't like that. I think she didn't know how to pose here either. But when you look at the one that she posted on her social media, I love that pose. I think this looks great. I think the corseted top works. It has a deep dive, but it's not too deep. It works. It has the contrast of the embellished type of top with the satin pant. I love the satin pants and how it's kind of like overthrown. If she would have did a not overthrown, but it's kind of long. So if you would have seen her step out in the way they would have flared with the pants, I think that would have really worked for the picture. She would have did like a walking pose. When I look at her hair, I love how simple the hair looks. It works for Monyetta here. She has more of a silver inner lining on the eyeshadow. That's perfect. She has a neutral lip. Yes, ma'am. I like that. I think it's not too extra. She didn't do too much with the jewelry. Her bracelet pairs perfectly with the top. I have no type of complaints for Monyetta. I think that's a Van Gogh. It's not as extra as the other looks, but it has something going for it, but I have no complaints at all. And lastly, we have Courtney Rose. Now listen, her dress is by Albina Dyla. Jewelry is by Genevieve Jules. Shoes is by Jimmy Choo. Hair is by Miss Monique. Makeup is by Cornelia. And stylist is Harrison Thomas Crete. Listen, Harrison styled her perfectly. When it comes to her and Monyetta, this is their first reunion, and I think this is how you show up to your first reunion when we're talking about them too. Courtney's dress, I think the contrast of the medium and light blue in the details is paired perfectly. The sequence material of the dress and how it's long, the detail at the top to where you have that futuristic feel to where you have the shoulders, the neckline. You can definitely see how at the top half, how it folds into the hip a little bit. I love the detail in that type of gown. I think the actual springy pieces at the top, this is how you do the details and it's not too much. Her hair works here. The shoes, the material and how it's a little darker is a great contrast. Her makeup is good. I would have loved to seen a little more with the glam on the makeup, but I'm not mad at it at all. Now we're gonna finish off with the final rankings. I love to do the cast members first, and then I add in the friends of. And while I did do the Van Gogh We Want More No Show, that's just kind of like to categorize where I would put the look. But as an overall and how everything looks and flows, this is how I kind of place them. So when it comes to the main cast members, I would put, and then this was very hard because a lot of people was like, we want more and stuff, and I didn't know how to really place this, and I really thought about it. It is going to be Kenya, Sonya, Drew, Marlo, Sheree, and then Candy. And I know a lot of people are gonna be like, you put Candy last. Listen, I do not like the top half of the dress. That's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Then I would put Sheree right before her because I think the look was safe and I liked it on her, but I love that way better than I like Candy's. And then when I'm looking at Marlo's, I love that 70s feel. It's just the makeup, but I still think it was still slightly better than Sheree's and Candy's. When I'm looking at Drew, I think Marlo's dress is better than Drew's, but as a cohesive look, I love the style of what they were doing with Drew's look. And when I have the top two, let's be real, I had a complaint about Kenya's top half of the dress, kind of like I had Candy's, but I just didn't flat out dislike it as bad as I liked Candy's top half of the dress. I just think Kenya's like whole aesthetic works here, and I will put Sonya right behind her because I literally don't really have any complaints, and I liked it a little more than Drew's. Even though it's simple and I love the style of Drew's, I would just put that slightly before that. Like everybody's look is like not great, it's not bad, they're there, but that's how I would place that. Now if I was to add the friends of, it literally would be Courtney, Kenya, Monyetta, then Sonya, Drew, Marlo, Sheree, and Candy. Listen, Courtney, 8. This look as a whole, I had no complaints compared to Kenya's. I would definitely put hers before Kenya's look. And Monyetta is definitely going to go before Sonya because Monyetta's look gave me an ode to like the earlier feels, mid-season feels of RHOA, but giving me that same effect of new school with it. And I love the fact that she pulled that pants leg off. I know a lot of people didn't like that she did the pants, but I loved it. That's how I would rank them. Let me know what you think. How would you rank the women? What did you really think of their looks? What did you think of the seating chart? The trailer. Do you think the trailer gave what needed to be given? And do you think the reunion is actually going to be good? Or is the production going to do like they always do and show some things and not put it in there? I really want to know. And I will see y'all next time.